Okay, Joanna, so I just observed a social studies lesson in your classroom, and I really enjoyed it. It was really effective with your positive narration. I know that as school-wide we're working on that, and it was very, very evident that your classroom was really engaged. I want to know how you feel like it went.
I think it went good. I'm trying to do the 5-to-1 ratio that we're working on in school. I think sometimes I tend to forget because I'm like stay crisscross. But I try to do more positive because I feel it gets like it's everybody else notices like, oh, she's saying positive to him. I want to do the same thing. But I think it went okay. I think they understood what we were trying to do for the lesson. Like, how can I be a good citizen?
Yeah. Absolutely. So as you were teaching, I took note of all the positives and all the negatives. So you can see there was a lot of positive happening, and you exceeded the 5-to-1.
Oh, good. Okay.
You very much exceeded it. So that was really good. Something else that I really noticed is that, as I said, school-wide is a 5-to-1 positive narration, but you also continue to reset the expectation. So before you let something become a problem, you had already reset the expectation as if you already knew something would happen and prepared for that next step. So the impact was that your classroom management is going really well. How I said, I took the note, and there was 27 positives while there were 6 negatives. So you're exactly where we're looking for as a school. What is something that you think you could work on?
I think maybe. Well, I feel this lesson also didn't include a lot of them like doing something. I did have them partner talk a couple of times because I felt they needed it. They kind of move their body and they're moving, and they're talking to someone. But maybe have something like maybe pictures that they can like a little game that has to do with the lesson, so that they can be a little bit more engaged instead of me just talking and explaining to them.
Okay.
And I think yesterday's lesson included that, and they did.
Yeah.
I think better than today. But I think they do a good job. Like they're I think my classroom. I think reminding them always like this is what I expect of you. I think it's helping them to remember, okay, you know what, I should be doing this. She's just reminded me I need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the things that you should continue doing is positive narration. The call and response are really engaged with all of your calls and responses. I think I counted like 6 different ones in the short time. Of, like,
I try to do different ones, because I feel like if I do the same one, they're kind of like, I don't know, they probably get tired of it or something, so I want to do different ones.
No, absolutely. So 2 things that I wrote down that potentially can be an area of growth is I know that they were watching a video before you started the lesson, so something that you can do is...
You're good to go after?
Yes.
Okay.
So something that you can do after, I think, is just make sure they have like a little stretch break. Like I noticed a few of them were squiggly.
Yeah.
And it was not like, it wasn't very noticeable, but there was like your 2 or 3 who were like squirming around.
Yeah.
So I would highly suggest that.
Okay.
The other thing is I know that you have like a partner system. I would work on just tightening that routine. There was a few students who at the first time they did partner talk, like they weren't unsure like who to turn to. And then one of them, the second time you did it, one of them was in the restroom, so the student didn't know where to go or what to do.
Okay.
So I have a really cool thing that I have done in the class that I'm more than happy to share with you if you want to hear about it. So we can talk about that later.
Okay.
But I think overall, how I said, classroom management, like I think you have it down, and I know that you have a lot of experience with it, which also goes to show and it reflects in your classroom and your student behavior. So also during your lesson, something that you did really well was even during the read aloud, even though it was a computer read aloud, you were still circulating. Something that I also noticed is that you paused the video, you just didn't let it run the 5 minutes. So you would pause, you would ask, make sure that you were checking in with students and checking for understanding. So that's something that I also feel goes into play with the positive environment that you walk into when you walk into Oregon. My next question to you is is there anything that I can do to support, or what is it that I can do to support before we meet next week for our check-in?
I think you already are helping me just by telling me what you think went great, and then some things that I can do to make it better during classroom management that I want to try.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.